a media and political bombshell.
It was a spellbinding summer surprise.
Going to work every day for me was like walking down the hallway with a knife in my back and the blood dripping down and me turning back to see who was following me.
On what Richter scale was the earthquake that Gretchen Carlson started?
The Barbara Blaine Trailblazer Award is named after the founder of the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests. She was a friend of mine and an impressive advocate for victims of child sex abuse. Gretchen Carlson is also a trailblazer.
I had been sexually assaulted twice as a young woman when I was actually Miss America and I was trying to break into the television business. I didn't come forward to say anything about those two assaults until 25 years later when I wrote my memoir.
Because of the effects of trauma, sexual assault victims typically need decades to come forward, which is precisely why we fight to reform statutes of limitation and to give victims their voice.
I really put in the time and the effort and worked my way up and finally got to the top of the heap. But when I got to Fox News very soon after, I started to realize that I was again in a conundrum.
Gretchen was severely sexually harassed by her boss.
In most of the situations that I was encountering, it was a one-on-one experience. My CEO and boss at Fox News held the reins for my success. He knew how to leverage that against me.
Gretchen faced what many victims encounter when they go up against those in power.
Women who complain about sexual harassment are often ostracized, retaliated against.
I knew I had to have all my ducks in a row so that I could have enough evidence to come forward. One of the darkest days for me was when my lawyers told me, "You have no case because you have an arbitration clause."
Arbitration is a closed-door, confidential proceeding, the substance of which never sees the light of day. Nobody ever knows about it. Nobody ever hears about it.
Luckily, they came up with the strategy to sue my alleged predator individually and not Fox News as an entity to try and circumvent that, which is the only reason why my case became public.
Those sexual harassment allegations against one of the most powerful men in television news. Fox News host Gretchen Carlson has filed a lawsuit against the network's CEO, Roger Ailes,
claiming he subjected her to severe and pervasive sexual harassment and sabotaged her career.
An amazing thing started to happen almost immediately after I jumped, and that was that so many other women started reaching out to me.
So many of us were left with that belief that there was somebody who was speaking up for all of us, somebody who had the courage to be first. And it gave me and so many other women the inspiration to do the same and follow in her footsteps.
And I realized that harassment in America was an epidemic. And then I realized that the way women had been silenced for all of these years was also an epidemic. So I started working with groups on Capitol Hill who've already been doing this for years. We were able to get bipartisan support. We introduced this bill in July in the House and the Senate, and it actually passed. And the president signed it into law a few weeks later and gave me this pen after doing so. And it means that women and men who are survivors of assault or harassment in the workplace no longer have to go to a secret chamber of arbitration, but they have a choice of going to open court.
Gretchen overcame the barriers that so many survivors face and now has opened the door in the future for victims and survivors to get justice. Alongside Gretchen, Child USA supported the Ending Forced Arbitration Act of 2021, which also empowers child sex abuse victims by increasing institutional transparency and allowing victims access to justice. It also shifts the power dynamic in favor of the victims and further pushes the culture to prioritize the safety of sex assault victims and children. We continue to fight shoulder to shoulder with Gretchen to ban non-disclosure and non-disparagement agreements with the Speak Out Act of 2022.
Organizations like Child USA that are really trying to encompass all of the ways to make the world better are so important to support.
That confidence in coming forward has definitely been instilled in me, been instilled in my brother, and many other women and men across the world because of what my mom did.
What my mom has definitely taught me the most has been to be able to persevere through whatever situations it may be.
She is truly what it means to be brave. I couldn't imagine having a better mom.
The devil whispered in my ear, "You are not strong enough to withstand the storm." Today I whispered in the devil's ear, "I am the storm."